This is the OBSBOT Meet 2 4K USB webcam. It is small. We're going to set it up. We're going to show you how it works on a computer. We're going to show you different ways that you can use it, and with the OBSBOT Talent as well. And we're going to do that next on Geekazine. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek. And today we're going to take a look at this guy right here. This is the OBSBOT Meet 2 4K, second iteration of the OBSBOT camera, the Meet camera. And we're going to show you all the functionality with that and a lot more. First of all, I do have to let you know that I did get the Meet 2 from OBSBOT. All opinions are of my own. They are not sponsoring this video. So you can check out all my information over at geekazine.com/review. And of course, if you got a product that you want me to take a look at, all you have to do is contact me. Or let's take a look at the specs that we've got for the Meet 2 here. It's got a 1/2-inch sensor with an f-stop of 1.8. So lower light situations, you'll be able to brighten this up. You can turn the camera for vertical video. It's got AI commands to it. Even though it's not a PTZ camera, it still works like that. It's got autofocus to it. It's got a dual mic that will also be canceling. So if you're using it for a Zoom call or a Teams call, you might be able to use the microphone. It's got a background blur option and a beauty option for that matter that allows you to, people don't see the kids running in the background. Let's take a look at this thing. It doesn't have its own case, so I've been using this as the case, which works perfect because this thing is small. How small is it? Well, let me show you. That's the Meet 2 4K webcam. You can use it on your PC, you can use it on your Mac, you can use it on Linux if you want to, and you can do a lot more with it, and it's super small. I use this in a band situation where I basically plug this in an area where the drum, or I could get the drummer's face and not get all the cymbals and get a good shot of the drummer. I used the UVC to HDMI to send it off into my switch, which then went into the computer so I could capture this. Like I said, it's got a 1/2-inch sensor on here. We've got basically the 2 microphones so they can do the noise canceling. In a lot of the situations where I'm working with a band, I don't use the microphones here. We got a tally light up here, a tripod mount, 1/4-inch mount on the bottom, nothing on the side, nothing on the top. On the back here, we have USB-C connection. So we can then connect this up to, of course, something like the UVC over NDI or a computer itself, and then send it out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the tripod here, big tripod, and then we're going to take the Meet 2. It reminds me, it's kind of like in Beetlejuice where they have the shrunken heads on the big bodies. That's what it's reminding me of. But what I've done is I've connected it up to the machine, and I got the OBSBOT Connect software all set up. Let's go over there and take a look. We're going to start really simple. We've got the console. This is basically the PTZ, which of course in its instant state does not work. But if we zoom in a little bit, like right there, now we can use the digital PTZ to kind of center ourselves into the frame, which is great. And of course, if we zoom back out, it just goes right back out to its original format. We can do a wide, a medium, and a narrow. And I believe, yeah, when we do that, we can actually move this around. Of course, we can hit the reset. We can choose auto frame, and we can do close up, which will then move around with us. And then we've got the upper body, which will give more of the breast to top of the head there. But we'll just leave it at that, turn off the auto framing. With the image, we can choose to autofocus, and we can choose to auto exposure or manual exposure if you want to. Anti-flicker, we can go 50 hertz, 60 hertz, of course, or turn it off. White balance, it's set at auto, but of course we can change that all the way from a nice indoor to outdoor look. And you're seeing it a little bit different than what I'm seeing it, but we will keep it on auto for now. You can change everything from the hue to the sharpness to the saturation to the contrast all through this app right here. We'll go over to more, and we can turn on the auto sleep. So basically the camera will just go to sleep after like a minute of inactivity. We can set up a sleep background if we wanted to. So either you'll see a blank screen or you'll see an image of some sort. You can actually put your own image in there, so you could brand it if you wanted to. We can choose the auto framing. That's the hand up. That's the zoom with the L. And you could turn those off right there. And then you could choose the zoom factor. Remember, if you do zoom, all it's going to do is zoom in and then zoom out. It's not going to do a gradual zoom and stop halfway through. We can set the microphone status during sleep, turn it on or off. We can change the noise reduction from a weak to a strong signal. So if you've got this camera farther away, right now I've got it pretty much at arm's length. So it will capture as much as my voice and try to cancel around. The closer you are, of course, the better. We're going to actually just completely disable the mic, saying that it's going to have to just restart the device. So we'll just say yes. While it's restarting, keep in mind, if you plug in like the Tiny 2, you're going to get different settings. If you plug in the Tiny, you're going to get different settings to this. So this will all change. The original Meet, you'll get some different settings as well. In fact, I have the tail air is that camera up there, and we've got completely different settings right here, including like NDI mode, our RTSP mode. As you can see, those are different functions inside of that camera, whereas this camera doesn't have those functions, so we don't see it here. All right, so we turned off all the gesture controls. So if I'm doing this, lots of hand movement, it's not turning on and off the camera. We have a microphone. You can change the radio distance, which is really interesting. So if the microphone is really far away, then you can set that so you'll try and hone in on the voice. Mirror image, simple as that. It's just going to flip everything around. There we go. Hey, look, I'm talking to myself. Hi, how you doing? I'm fine. Thank you very much. And then the indicator status, which is basically a little tally light and saying, hey, are you sure you want to do that? So I say yes. The little tally light is turned off. I can turn it back on just by hitting that toggle again, and you'll see the little green light. We can change the brightness. So that's a really faded one, and that's a really bright one. You got the firmware update. You can check on the update through the guide, or normally when there's a firmware update, it'll either say up here that there is a new update, or you'll check here. You can export the log, you can do a manual upgrade, and you can restore factory settings. Now, you can do 4 cameras on this thing. We got 2 cameras set up. We have my main camera, this Meet camera, and then I have a tail air, which is up in the rafters, right up there. And I can see them both, and I can control them both. Before we get into the video, I'm going to show you this. This is the beauty feature. So this can show you, give you some bokeh. This can give you some retouch. If we turn the bokeh on, now my background is a little blurry. And this is an overlay bokeh. So if I take my hand and kind of run it across the Geekazine, you'll see it unblur in between my fingers. So it's not perfect, but it does an okay job. We can set the bokeh level right here. Go back to native. Now you can really see, you can actually really see the 3D print up there, you know, the Geekazine logos disappearing and coming back. So if you set it to the lowest level, you might be able to get away with it. But if you got kids running around in the background, you'll probably want to set it a little bit higher. We have the retouch feature. So if you want to look like a man, there you go. It can do some toning, it can do some smoothing, and once again, it's hard for you to see in this situation. Finally, we have a couple other features right here. This is the OSC feature. This allows you to use a Stream Deck to control the PTZ options. And now that we've changed some of these settings, like for instance, this, it doesn't do the follow or AI anymore. I can flip over here, and now this is what the camera looks like without any extra settings, without the software being the interface. As you can see, it looks a little bit darker, a little bit more contrasty, and the colors are a little bit on the red side, something I can fix with the software, but I need the software to do it. But as you can see, this is the camera right here, and you could set it up now, so if you did do this, it could then start following you and then bring it back into the system so you can see it from there. But that's the software, and you can use it with OBS, you can use it with other streaming software as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this camera and we're going to plug it into the Talent so we can see how that works in a multi-camera situation. Of course, if you want to support Geekazine, we have some great ways to do that. Just simply by buying the merch over at Teespring or at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. You will see the merch section from there. This is the I Like Geek Butts and I Cannot Lie shirt. We also have the Guardian of the Geekery t-shirt. We have 80s Jesus Saved Me One Floppy at a Time. And then, of course, the classic Geek AI shirt, plus new ones coming in daily. So you check that out over at Teespring and, of course, amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Let's show you the rest of it here. So inside here, you also get the camera mount. You get the cables that you need. It looks like we got a little magnet option right here. So you can put that on a wall or anything like that. And then of course we got the USB-C to C cable with a C to A adapter in there. And so now I'm setting up this camera right here. I've got my main camera, which will not switch or is switching. We've got the Tiny 2, which is over here. And now we're going to get rid of this camera and I'm going to add in webcam 1. And then we have the OBSBOT Meet. So now everything is running through the Talent. I'm looking at my Tiny 2 right now. And if I want to switch over, that's the Meet. I'm going through my Tail Air 2. That's this one right here. So now I got through the Tail 2. So I got these 3 cameras. We got the Tiny 2, we got the Meet, and we've got the Tail Air. So with the Meet, once again, we have a lot of functionality. Raise the hand and we get a basically blinky light. This thing turns violet, I think it is. And now, as you can see, it's following me. Now, in order to do that, basically what happens is it turns the 4K, and I just accidentally set it back, but that's okay. It turns the 4K, and every time it zooms in, of course, like I said, it's going to kind of degrade the video a little bit because it's a digital zoom. I'm recording in 1080p. So if I zoomed in to 2 times, that's technically a 1080p signal. They would look pretty decent. But then you get past that and it starts to digitize and you can really see the difference on there. And of course I can zoom in if I wanted to and zoom out if I wanted to. Easy peasy. It's not like you can zoom in and stop. It's either zoom in and out, one or the other. Even with the Talent, we can do picture in picture if we wanted to. The Talent only does 3 NDI captures, but I can do this camera. This is not my over the shoulder camera. This is the side view camera. So I could bring that in. And now I've exhausted all my 3 NDI SRT wireless connections into the device. So, and that's also with like picture in picture, because you're setting up another wireless device. You can send it out via, HDMI cable. You can send it out via NDI. You can send it out via SRT. So once again, the Talent can send it out to somebody in California and you could switch for them. And I didn't even mention the fact that you can telestrate on the Talent, but we're talking about the Meet right now. The Meet is a great 1-2 combination for this because it's such a small camera. Add in one of these PTZ cameras as well. And then all of a sudden I have a lot of shot. Plus I can connect up the remote control to the Talent. I can connect up the remote control to the Tail Air. And I can connect up another remote to these cameras and have a full system that allows me to do a lot for everything everything can just sit in my backpack. Minus, you'll probably need tripods. That'll probably be the biggest part is tripods, maybe a light, depending on the situation. But then you can set up and do a shoot, tear down, and go. And that's what I really love about this. Because like I said, I'm planning to go to CES and take some form of system like this. So that is the Meet 2. Amazing little camera that can do a lot for your desktop, for your Zoom calls, for your Teams calls, for remote production, for the backpack streamer. With some of these extra tools, you'll be able to get some great footage and not have to have big bulky cameras in places where you can't put a big bulky camera. Do you have the Meet 2? Let me know down in the comments below over at geekazine.com or youtube.com/geekazine. Once again, you can like, subscribe, comment, and bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out and stream on with the OBSBOT Meet 2.